So now we come to Evestar's business model. We're going to take a look at the background to this company and how it operates. We're told that it was founded in 2006 by Denny White. First mention of this charismatic leader of the company, CEO and chairman. Seems to be modelled on Simon Cowell. Denny owns 7% of the issued equity in Evestar. We understand that the company was floated on the stock exchange in Thailand in 2008. So Denny was already a successful businessman before the creation of Evestar. He's owned a controlling interest in a company called How Music for more than 30 years. So he's been around the block. He's been there for a long time working in the entertainment industry. We're told then that How Music operates independently of Evestar, but there are some concerns that I will raise later on about potential conflicts of interest relating to Denny's stake in these two companies. Denny created Evestar, we're told, because he thought the music industry was in decline. Okay, so that's quite good foresight on Denny's part. He certainly seems to have recognized early on that this was an industry that was going to suffer. You'll know that record labels are not what they used to be. They're under attack. Piracy has caused big issues for the record industry. CD sales and album sales are no longer so important, and there are many challenges for that particular industry. So he was diversifying his portfolio by getting involved with another company, by founding Evestar, and he sees significant opportunities in the television industry. So even from this picture, we see quite a glamorous looking figure. He's probably quite charismatic. It leads me to think that there's something of a cult of personality operating here. A very charismatic leader of both How Music and Evestar. Undoubtedly, he's an entrepreneurial figure, a risk taker, someone who sees opportunities early on. He seems to have demonstrated that by recognizing the early decline in the music industry and going into something more sustainable, perhaps. We're told then a little bit more about Evestar. We know that they develop and produce programs and sell to broadcasters. What's interesting here is that the programs are actually sold before they're even made. So you've got Denny or someone working in his team pitching ideas to broadcasters in advance of the production. So the sales pitch must be really strong. You think maybe Denny is the consummate salesperson. Again, it ties in what we think about this kind of charismatic entrepreneurial figure. Then you've a pilot episode made to demonstrate what the program will actually look like, and so the broadcaster can do some testing and some screenings, etc. We're told then that Evestar's programs, they're remade on an annual basis. This leads me to believe that they're quite popular shows. They're being recommissioned. They've run for a few years, as we will see shortly when we look at some of their other programs. Interesting that it mentions Evestar insists on retaining intellectual property rights for its programs. So this doesn't stop them from going with the program to other channels in subsequent years. So the contract runs out at the end of 1 year. They can easily bring the same program, Thailand Variety or whatever it is, to another channel, a competitor. So they have that ability, and it lends them more bargaining power, perhaps. They can just up stakes very easily and look for a better deal elsewhere if they're not happy with what they're getting from their current broadcast partner. Then we're told a little bit more about Thailand Variety. It's 10 years old now. It's been on in the TV since 2007, so very well established. Program was developed by Denny himself. And then we're told a little bit about the structure of the program. There are two phases, an audition phase, and then you have a sort of a final. The audition phase involves hiring a concert hall in 8 cities spread out through T-Land, and they have an episode each week running for 8 weeks. So you members of the public, they're asked to audition for these shows, and all forms of entertainment are being considered. Not just singers, you've got dancers, comedians, all sorts. Usually there are thousands of hopefuls. We've referred to the fact that there's a huge supply of potential participants all looking for their big break, so you've a ready supply of costless labour for Evestar. Very convenient for them indeed. There are 20 acts then selected from the many thousands who were queuing up to get in. Interestingly, 10 are seen as maybe being potential winners, so people with some talent to offer, and 10 are actually selected because they're expected to fail. That's really quite cruel and ties in with the ethical questions I was raising earlier on. These are shows that seem to have a 50-50 split between exhibiting people with genuine talents and exhibiting people who have absolutely no talent and are there to be just to have fun poked at them and to make the audience laugh at their misery. So lots of ethical questions there. Then there are 20 acts that are recorded on stage in front of a live audience. And interestingly, the audience actually has a say. They're casting a vote. They can call off the act prematurely if they don't like it. So the audience is a participant in the show. It's not just the singer or the comedian or whoever. It's not just the judges, the panel of judges, who we'll hear about in a little bit, but the audience itself is a participant. So Evestar, I think quite cleverly here, has driven audience engagement, driven viewer engagement. They have a say in proceedings. And they actually monetize it, as we'll see in a minute, by offering the chance to phone in with the telephone vote, which costs quite a sum to do that. We're told about the panel of judges. There are 3 of them. Generally, Denny White is there as one of the judges, Chief Denny, and 2 celebrity judges. We're told that in 2016-17, you have Donnell, this successful singer, and Billy Banter, a comedian. So this is kind of a tried and trusted formula for a lot of these reality competitive talent shows. You have a nasty judge. We assume maybe that's Denny White himself. You've got an entertainer of some kind, a successful singer or something like that. Someone who is usually plugging an album, as it so happens, or has something coming out to coincide with that season. And then you've got some comic relief in the form of this comedian who no doubt will add to the fun being poked at the less talented participants. So the members of the judging panel, they also vote on whether an act gets to go forward to the next round or not. And then you have these angry outbursts from participants who have fun made at them. Unsurprisingly, they react to Denny calling them out and saying all sorts of nasty things. And we're told of this case where the pink-haired lady with the dancing dog called Denny a rogue at some point. I'm sure he's been called a lot worse than a rogue. But we have this element, even as we see with the picture of the pink-haired lady, you have this element of pantomime. Reality and fiction are being blurred again. It's a little bit farcical. It's quite silly, but it seems to make for good television. The audience numbers are strong, and it's being shown at prime time by one of the biggest networks in T-Land. Duration of the episode, it's edited down, the footage is edited down to 45 minutes, and the ads then are running during the breaks. The total runtime is an hour. So what we have is advertising occupying 25% of that hour block. So we see advertising as an important part of the total content package.